Hello again, I'm Doug Smith, and welcome to the 17 May 2019 edition of Portsmouth This Week. Our special guests today are Glen Manor Authority Chair Karen Menezes and Glen Manor Resident Manager Katie Wilkinson. Welcome back to the show, Katie. I don't know if you've been on before, Karen.
I have not.
Oh, great. This is the first time.
Well, thank you.
Before we get started about the Glen Manor House and the authority and what you guys do, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about your own backgrounds and how you got involved with this beautiful facility we have.
Sure. It was kind of an interesting story. I've been in the hospitality industry pretty much all my life. I have got a marketing degree from Johnson & Wales, so I was running restaurants, managing restaurants, and I said, I think I might like to try the catering aspect of it. So I started part-time working for caterers, and I catered a few events at the Manor House. And then I realized this would be an amazing job to be able to run the facility, because I saw the potential that the Manor House had, but the people that were running it were more just the maintenance managers, maybe didn't have all the history of the experience I had in the hospitality field. So I was just really in the right place at the right time.
Well, that's great. I think that was a win-win for all.
It was exciting, yeah. So,
Karen, how about you?
Well, I don't come from the hospitality. I come from the farming community here in Rhode Island, and I've worked in farming for 45 years. Basically, I do insect and disease recommendations to farmers. I also do food safety. Okay. And but I have always believed that you need to give back to the community, and I've served on other committees in town. And I have a friend of mine who was on the committee and said, gee, would you like to join? I did not join the authority. I joined the Glen Manor Friends first, and then was invited to be on the authority, and been about 7 years now.
Okay, great. How long have you been the chair?
This will be my first year.
Okay.
oh, that's right.
Well, they got somebody great in charge then. Maybe, I don't know which one of you would like to talk to this, but I wonder if you could describe the Glen Manor and maybe even how the town acquired it and that kind of stuff. Katie, probably.
Yeah, the Manor House was built in 1923. It was built by Moses Taylor and his family. They hired John Russell Pope to be the architect. And the theory behind it's an old, elegant style French chateau, nestled right on the banks of the Saconnet. Beautiful area, grounds located right on the river. And the whole property in its day was somewhere between 8 and 1,000 acres. And the Manor House, Glen Farm, and Glen Park were all a part of that one property.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a large venture.
Family.
It was. They just vacationed there in the summer, but it was one of the mother's favorite houses, and when she passed, the children tried to keep up with it, but then they realized that it was time to let it go. So they donated it, somewhat sold it to the Sisters of the Sacred Heart. So from the early 60s to the early 70s, it was an all-girls Catholic school. So the girls lived and resided in the Manor House itself, and then they built a school next door and the chapel where they would attend masses and school. So when they went out of business in the early 70s, that is when the town started to think about acquiring the property. A, because I believe they needed another school, and the school was already built. And B, just to maintain all that open space, which they have till this day. So that's when, in the early 70s, that's when they went out to the people of Portsmouth to vote on purchasing it through a bond.
Okay.
And so the town has owned and operated those facilities since the
Smart move
70s.
by the town, I think.
Extremely,
Sure.
extremely.
Just out of curiosity, how many rooms, and can you give me I know it's tough.
It is. There's so many.
I should tell our audience, too, that there's an excellent website that has a diagram and everything else of the layout on www.glenmanorhouse.com.
Correct.
So go to that and check it out.
Yes, it has a lot of great photos of different events that we've hosted there.
Yeah.
Also, it entitles, we did some filming for Moonrise Kingdom.
Oh, really?
So they rented the place out for 5 days and filmed some of that movie there. So that's kind of was a something fun and different. But
That's very cool.
yeah, yeah. The rooms itself, I can't tell you the total because there's like a full basement, there's
Yeah.
a servant's quarters, there's a second floor. So
It's big.
it's big, yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second because I know there's got to be a lot of maintenance. I'll get to that.
Yeah.
Back to the Glen Manor Authority. What do you guys do?
Actually, what we do is there's a set of bylaws, as you can imagine. We're a town authorized committee, and we have 15 members, which we have a full complement of members right now. And we make sure that the budget is taken care of. We review all of the events that Katie and Don put on. We make sure that everything is being discussed so that everybody knows what's going on at all times. What kind of repairs are being done? What kind of restorations need to be held? It's done on a monthly basis. We do 11 months of meets a year, and we take August off. But we have 2 meetings in July.
Yeah. Now, how many folks on your
On the
your
board,
authority? Yeah.
there are 15, and we have a full complement right now.
Okay, so that's kind of you're up to speed on
Yes.
people. If people want to get involved, though, I guess probably the Friends would be the way to.
Yeah, and the
Can you
Friends.
talk about that a
Yeah,
little
the
bit?
Friends is an organization that basically we're a 501c3, and our money is used for restorations, basically, for the building. So if there's carpets, or if there are lighting, or painting needs to be restored, the Friends would take care of that. We also do different events. So we do the All-American Band. We'll do a social in July. We do Mistletoe Madness. That's in December, and that's on the 17th. 17th? 6th, thanks.
You're welcome.
And there's also an open house in December where Santa Claus is there, and there's cookies and coffee, and that's all hosted by the Friends.
Now, how are the Friends funded, or is it all just?
It's a 501c3, so it's all donations.
Okay.
And it's also driven by membership.
And it's
So
driven by membership,
Anyone
right.
can become a member of the Friends of the Glen Manor House. And then there's an executive board that works closely with the authority on the special events Karen just mentioned, in addition to just any assistance the authority may need. So, but anyone can become a friend.
Now, how do they do that? Just
You
call?
can call the office, which the number is on the camera. You can call the town if you go
Yeah.
onto the website.
Is it kind of like a town committee, or is it?
It is not.
The Friends is not.
It is
yeah.
not. It's a
That's
separate.
probably a good thing.
Yeah, it's a 501c3, so we're completely separate, and we have about 75 members. It's a very small fee to
Yeah.
join. So
It sounds like it'd be a lot of fun to be a part of
Yeah,
that.
the Friends organization, and actually you can go to our website and at the Glen Manor House, and there's a whole section on the Friends and what they do, and you can download the membership form and mail that in. And every year we ask, like when we decorate, any friends want to come and help us decorate. So
Yeah.
we get a bunch of people down to help us decorate the house for the holidays. Or does someone want to help with the social or for the concert? So we get them involved if they want to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. They learn a lot about the house.
It'd be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
and every event is free except for Mistletoe Madness. You know, the band is free, the social is free,
Yeah.
the open house is free.
Yeah, I got to tell you, the American Band concert is absolutely fantastic.
It is.
You know, especially if the weather's nice.
Yes.
Yes.
It does take place, rain or shine, though.
Yeah, yeah. How does the authority relate to the resident managers, Katie and her husband?
It's a real team. You know when you do a broadcast and you're out there and everybody sees just the end production. That's what everybody sees at the Glen Manor House. That's not what happens. It's unloading tables and chairs and linens, and it's making sure that the bathrooms are working. And the authority knows what Katie and Don do on a daily basis because we're there all the time. It's a real pleasure and a real privilege to be a part of the authority that can oversee and to help them run this beautiful building.
Yeah.
We report to them, so all of
Yeah.
the issues that come up, or maintenance issues, or we're going to need to look at this further down the line, we bring that all to the authority on a monthly basis to discuss.
Now, I know you and your husband Don had managed the facility for some time now.
Yeah.
And I guess you're doing this under contract with the town, is that how it works?
Yes, we are subcontractors to the town. We are not town employees. And we are in charge of the maintenance, the preservation, and the marketing, and the execution of all of the events that take place at the Manor House. So the way it works is I deal with all of the marketing, the selling. We are there for every event from start to finish to make sure that everything is going according to plan. So those revenues are all brought in. Those revenues are turned in to the town. They support our budget 100%, which is fantastic. At the end of the year, whatever profit we make, 75% of it goes into the general fund, and 25% goes into a capital improvement account that we have.
That makes sense. Sure.
So when we have larger projects, like our gutters are in need of repair, or roofing situations, or what have you, we pull from that money to do the larger projects. And I'm happy to report, and a lot of townspeople probably don't know this, but since my husband and I have been there, we've put $3.1 million into the general fund.
Wow.
For the town to use throughout the years we've been here.
That's going to help big time in
It
this town.
It 100%, the sales 100% covers all of the cost and then turns back things into the town. So it's a win-win.
On an annual basis, give me a ballpark of how much that 75%.
So for example, last year our total revenue was about $600,000. It's about $170 for our operating budget. So that balance, actually I could tell you the exact figure. So last year we turned in $96,000 to our capital improvement account and $288,000 to the town.
It's not chicken feed, guys. That's great money.
No, it's really a wonderful, and I don't think a lot of the townspeople understand that. They think that they have to pay for the Manor House, but it solely supports
It's running itself.
It runs
In
itself.
fact, at a profit.
Yes,
And at a profit.
a good profit,
And a nice
yes.
profit.
Yeah, that's the key.
Yeah.
I know you guys have a very busy schedule, and you're in the season right now, I bet.
We are.
How many sort of events do you do? in the
On
course of a
average,
year?
in a year, we do anywhere from 85 to 100 events a year.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes, it's just my husband and I.
Yeah.
So my husband takes care of all the maintenance of the property, as well as he attends to all the grounds, all the plantings, the cutting, the trimming.
Gotta be a busy person, I think.
He is. At this point in the spring, it's his worst time of year to get it all beautified for all the brides coming in. And then after every event, we have to do all the cleaning outside, washing all the terraces down, making sure it looks sparkling and spotless for the next bride that's coming in, so that it doesn't look like we hosted an event.
Yeah, and
the
I
day
have to say
before.
it does. You guys do a
Thank you.
fantastic job.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
And one of the things, too, is remember that these events are back-to-back. So this could be a Saturday
Like
to
a
a Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday, or
Right,
Friday, Saturday,
and
Sunday.
it could even be a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah.
So this is, when I say that it is really a production, it isn't just sitting down and doing the marketing and the paperwork. It's the tables and the chairs and
The coordination of all
the
vendors.
coordination,
Yeah.
and it's making sure that everybody's happy.
So, Katie, you still having fun doing this?
I
think you do. I can tell.
I do sometimes. I have my moments.
Well,
but
everybody
when,
does, but-
when I'm in the spotlight and a bride comes down the stairs and she's just beaming and
Yeah.
looking beautiful, and you can just tell it warms my heart to be a part of that. And
Yeah.
we've even had families where two sisters have both been married there, so then I become kind of part of the family.
Yeah, I
so
bet.
it is a lot of fun.
Now, how do you guys advertise? Or I know you have the website, but
Mm-hmm.
is there anything else?
Yep, we do some print advertising. That has kind of diminished over the years, so it's mostly web-based. So there's a lot of different wedding venue websites on like The Knot, Wedding Wire, Here Comes the Bride. There's a lot of different things that inquiries come
Yeah.
through, and then social media.
Yeah, I would think word of mouth would be.
And word of mouth, yeah.
The way that would
that
work.
is also, we just had a mother came back and she was married there 34 years ago. And her daughter has decided to be married there.
Wow, that's
so that's
cool.
kind of interesting.
That's
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Now, I'm thinking of this maintenance
Yeah.
load you guys have. Do you guys get any assistance from DPW?
We do. When we have you know, where it's just the two of us, when we have certain projects that we need some manpower, or Brian Woodhead and his crew,
Those guys are great.
they're fabulous. So we just give them a call and say, hey, this is too big for us. Can you come down and help us out? And they always do, which is nice to have that.
Yeah.
So.
You know, I remember I was there twice for like public town events. First one was the 375th. We had a fantastic thing. We had the Lord Mayor from Portsmouth thing on.
Yeah.
It was just, you guys did such a great job.
Thank
It was
you.
beautiful. And then the latest one was, I guess, a year or two ago when we did the police, I don't know what it was called, but it was about telling them about why we need a new police station.
Oh, the fundraiser they
Fundraiser,
did.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
And both of those things were absolutely fantastic. So there are a couple ways that people could, you know, use the facility.
Mm-hmm.
One is go online and see what you want to do for weddings or things like that. What about for stuff like that, sort of civic or community events? How does that work? And I imagine if somebody's got some idea of something that benefits the town as a whole somehow.
There are different rate structures.
Yeah.
And there could be a nonprofit structure. There's also a structure for in residents within Portsmouth, and that structure is also less. So, for instance, if you're giving a wedding, you know, you get a Portsmouth rate. So, that is
Okay, so
all
that's a
part of the
savings
policy.
right there
Sure,
for
absolutely.
residents.
Yes, if you're a town of Portsmouth resident and your son or your daughter or yourself are getting married, there is, it's actually 50% of the non-resident fee.
Wow.
So it's a very big savings. So they do encourage the Portsmouth residents to utilize it that way. And then we do have a nonprofit fee that for Portsmouth-related only fundraisers or certain celebrations, the nonprofit fee comes into effect. And that's only $275. So they can come in and do certain events. And actually, one of the nicer events that we host now is the police department does their awards ceremony every year. So all of the new recruits get pinned, and then they have certain awards they give out to the police department, certain people in the police department.
Wow.
And the year before we did the fire department. So those are some really nice events that the house should be utilized
Yeah,
for.
and they contribute a lot to the community, I think.
Right.
Exactly.
So people, say somebody's got an idea. Let's say the Portsmouth Historical Society would like to do a fundraiser. We'd start with you.
Correct.
I guess, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it's just a matter of what style of event, what type of event, and then I just go through the particulars of what's required for that event. And then, you know, I assist them through the planning
I
process.
imagine the hard part is just getting on schedule. because you guys
Well,
are so
that's
busy.
it. We do, if it's a nonprofit, they can't book it until 60 days out because obviously if we want to sell the prime dates. But then if we don't have something going, we'll do the nonprofit situations. So.
We might be talking to you at some point. Anyway, there's a possibility there.
Yeah.
Karen, you mentioned the events upcoming. Can we go through those again? Can you give us some dates?
Absolutely.
perhaps?
The American Band Concert is July 11th. The social, which is for the members of the Friends, is July 18th. Mistletoe Madness is December 6th, which is always on a Friday night.
Okay, and what is that, like a kids' party?
No, it isn't. No, it's a used to be.
gala.
It's a gala. It used to be the Holly Ball, and
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
there's a lovely band. It's an open bar. It's food. There are stations. It's just lovely. I mean, people get dressed up. This is not gowns and tuxes, but everybody's in glitter. It's just lovely. The food is fabulous. It's all by our local caterers. You know, Russell
Actually,
Moore and something
what's
of that.
really wonderful is we have such great support in the community from our vendors. So the band GQ and the Lady does the entertainment. Blackstone Caterer does all the catering for free. They don't charge us.
Right.
Peak Event Services donate all the linen and the china and the glitter and the tablecloths and everything. And I think they helped you out with the 375th,
Yes, they did.
which
Absolutely.
was fantastic. So we have a great support from our vendors. So it is the Friends' #1 fundraiser.
It's our biggest.
So it
it's our
sells
biggest
out
fundraiser.
every year. So when
And,
you
and the date again?
December
December
6th.
Yep.
December 6th. So people should start looking for ads or something.
Mid-September we start publicizing it,
Yeah.
and we usually sell out before November 1st.
Okay.
You really want to call early
Okay.
because it sells out very quickly. And I think it's $75 a person.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Piece of cake.
And
Yeah.
all of
Spend
that,
for dinner.
that's
almost.
the only fundraiser besides the membership fees that the
Right.
Friends do. So that's, I think our profit last year was $5,500 from the event. So
Yeah.
it was great.
Well, that's great. I mentioned this earlier, but in addition to your website, glenmanorhouse.com, do you guys you do print and other ads and things?
We do. Some of it, one publication I always do is the Newport Life Wedding Magazine, because they host a very great wedding expo in the winter. And all the people that go through get that particular magazine. There's other certain Bliss publications, Southern New England Wedding, Providence has a publication as well. We're listed on all the visitor center sites like Discover Newport and what have you, so that people coming into town can find us. And then our social media. You can follow us on Instagram. We have the Glen Manor House, a Facebook page. You can follow us on Twitter or Pinterest.
Now, do you do all that?
I do.
You do? Wow.
She does.
I need to come over and talk to you.
I'm learning new things every day. Let's just.
Yeah, no, I bet.
I had some help getting things up and running, and then
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
but-
I think your website's beautiful. I mean,
Thank
it's,
you.
It's great pictures and everything else.
Yeah.
So, okay, we sort of established where we are with this. Going forward, are there any issues you guys see coming up, or any concerns, or anything like that?
Nothing
No,
major.
there isn't
Yeah.
anything. I think one of the things that I'd love to see is more people become members of the Friends. We have a full complement of people on the authority, and it's just, as you know, the members of committees tend to age. And
Tell me about
yes. and so does our membership of the Friends. And so I'd love to see people be more involved, come and be part of the Friends. I think it's a great group of people.
Yeah.
And through the Friends, they learn about the house and how it's run, and they see what we do. And then, when openings come on to the authority, they're already diverse in how we operate and how we work. Sure. And it's an easy transition onto the authority from, being a friend. You're a little bit more educated.
We're also getting people retiring and coming to live in Portsmouth. Mm-hmm. It seems to me this would be an ideal way for somebody to figure out what the community's about and have fun at the same time.
Have fun at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's.
And one of the interesting things is that, just as you said, you end up having more fun because you go to the open house, you go to the social, you watch these cherubs come in and stand in line to watch, to go and see Santa Claus. And we have the best Santa Claus in the whole entire world. And he's just terrific.
I won't ask his name.
No, his name is Santa Claus. So you actually get to attend this, and you find yourself saying, wow, why didn't I attend this 15 years ago when I was busy and had kids and et cetera, et cetera. But I'd love to see more people join the Friends.
Yeah, I think that'd be something that'd be fun to do, particularly at that age. People that retire at 60-something, that's young as far as I'm concerned.
Very young, yeah.
And they've got time. So
Yes, and they've got time.
yeah, I think that's we need more of that, and they probably have experience, kind of doing
Right.
this kind of stuff.
And for the most part, in the 60s is much, much younger than our group.
Really.
Yes.
You're not speaking about yourself.
Not everyone. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Anyway, just to go back a little bit, Elmer School was torn down,
Yes.
and because it just outlived its usefulness, I guess. How has that affected the manor? And
It's helped us immensely because one of the negatives of a lot of people that would come in and be like, what's the school doing there?
Yeah.
And so, it was...
kind of took away from the manorness of
the grand grounds and what have you. So not having it there has helped the selling aspect of it a great deal. The one thing it also did is there was a certain we're physically connected to the school, or we were.
Really?
So when
You mean by building?
Oh, yeah.
No kidding, I
The
didn't know.
manor house is literally connected.
Well, it used to be a convent. So.
Yeah.
Right.
So, so one you know, we were hoping when they took the school down that we might be able to bring the Manor House back to its original state, but the funds just weren't there. So they did leave a section of the school attached to us, but what that's enabled us to do is purchase different style chairs and different
Storage
style
and things like
storage,
that,
which
sure.
is which was very limited in the house before that. So for an example, it allowed us to buy gold Chiavari ballroom chairs, and in the first year they cost us $16,000 to purchase. We made 40. So just having that extra space allowed us to increase revenue. So,
Jeez, that's great.
Yeah. And this year we've bought new tables and some high top tables, which are becoming very popular. And this is all through the Friends. This is the Friends have purchased these things. So it just makes it better and just a little bit more current.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. And I know you have a nice pier, or you used to have a nice pier down there that was kind of falling apart. Is that?
It's all repaired, so
is.
it's safe, yes.
Okay,
yes.
so part of what the guests can do then is wander down by
Oh,
the...
they love to wander down onto
Sure.
the pier.
Well, it's so pretty.
It's a gorgeous picture for the bride and groom at sunset, because we get
Yeah,
some
I
fabulous colors. So
Well,
there's
you are
some
a pro.
pretty,
You're-
Yeah.
pretty iconic pictures
Solid,
of
Katie.
they're pretty iconic pictures down by that
Yeah.
waterfront.
No, it's beautiful. I'll tell you, we're so lucky in this town to have things like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's rare.
Yeah, it is really.
And people are amazed when they come in. They're like, I've lived in this town all my life and didn't know it was here.
Yeah.
Or I've lived in Rhode Island, never
Yeah.
heard of it before.
Yeah.
I know,
So-
that's the way it is. Right?
Yeah, it is Rhode Island.
I mean, we're not a museum, so we don't show it where,
Yeah.
you know, people can't come on tours. We're just a special event. So unless you're looking for an event space, you maybe not know about it.
Yeah.
So
Now, what about parking? Has that been a problem at all?
no, we have, our police department is there directing that. Every event they are there, so they help. It's a unique situation where they do need to park, but we've just, the rotary area that used to be around the school, we eliminated the sidewalk, and that has allowed for about 15 more cars to
Okay.
park closer to the house. And then a lot of our guests are out of town, so we do see a lot of buses and trolleys that
Okay.
transport their guests
So
out.
they come into the circle area and drop off.
Correct, yeah.
And then do you also use that big parking lot up above?
Yes, the one on the left,
Yeah.
we do, yes, yeah. So on the bigger events, when we hit the 200 mark, or our concert, we use every
Yeah.
parking lot we can get.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, it's very well attended.
Well, listen, this has been delightful talking to you guys, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Please.
Well,
And I
thanks.
hope we can get some new friends to join up,
That would be great.
just based on today.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's, once again, you know, the longer you stay, I'm a Navy guy. I came here in the Navy, 82, essentially. And it's just such a great place.
It
It is
is.
a
And
great
you look
place.
out over that water. Every time I come on the island, I say, God, we're so lucky.
can't
Anyway,
believe
thank
it.
you both
Yeah.
very much
Thank you,
for
Doug.
joining us today.
It was great.
We'll see you next time on Portsmouth This Week. Just a quick note, on Friday, May 31st at 9 a.m., the Portsmouth Police Department will be having a grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony to celebrate our newly completed police building. The Portsmouth Police would like to share this with the members of the public, dignitaries, and the media. And our police officers will be there conducting tours of the new building after the ceremony until 12 p.m. And refreshments will be served. Please mark this on your calendars, as the police are looking forward to seeing everybody on that date. I should also mention that at Glen Manor House on the 23rd of May at 5 p.m., the police department award ceremony will take place, and the public is invited. So those are two events you might think about coming to. Thank you.